Our frustrations with each other piled up, leading my husband and me to decide on a divorce. But since then, our daughter started growing distant, for some unknown reason. After the divorce, I planned to have sole custody of her, but she flatly refused. When I asked why, an unbelievable truth came spilling out of her mouth. My name is Ophelia, and I'm 40 years old. I've been married to Eugene for 15 years. We have a daughter named Charlotte, who just entered 8th grade this year. Charlotte has always been a mommy's girl, always clinging to me, saying, "Mom, Mom!" But over the past few months, she's become increasingly cold towards me. At first, I thought I was imagining it and didn't think much of it, but something's definitely off. We used to go shopping and eat out together just a short while ago. She even used to suggest these outings, but lately, those invitations have disappeared. "Hey Charlotte, I heard there's a new cafe nearby. Want to check it out?" Without missing a beat, Charlotte said, "No." "Oh, alright. How about the shopping mall in the next town? You were asking Dad for some new clothes the other day, right?" I said I'm not going. "But..." "Stop bugging me! Don't talk to me." "Wait, Charlotte?" It's like she can't stand even being in the same room with me. She leaves for another room as soon as I speak. This time, she slammed the door and left the living room. She's only in 8th grade. Could this be teenage rebellion? But if that were the case, why is she so hostile toward me, and only me? She seems to talk normally with her dad. I'm worried about her, but I can't focus only on that. That's because, at this time, my divorce talks with my husband were moving forward. Eugene and I met 16 years ago. It was on an outdoor tour that I whimsically decided to join, and we hit it off. We started dating soon after, and got engaged within just 6 months. In short, we got married in the heat of the moment. Since we met on an outdoor tour, Eugene is genuinely passionate about the outdoors. Unlike me, who joined on a whim, he invites me to go camping or hiking almost every week. But doing this week after week is both physically and financially exhausting. "Ophelia, where do you want to go this weekend?" Are we going somewhere again?" "Again? Ugh, that's what makes our weekends fun, right?" "Yeah, but it costs money, and I'm pretty wiped out from work." "Don't be like that. Being in nature is good for us. Anyway, I'll make plans." "Alright." This was how our plans often got made, almost like I was being forced into them. If I said no, he'd get upset. To keep the peace, I just went along. A year after we got married, I found out I was pregnant. When I told him, he cried tears of joy. Maybe now he'd tone down the weekend outings, I thought. He didn't drag me hiking while pregnant, but his love for the outdoors didn't change. "Hey, I'm not feeling up to it today. Could you handle the housework?" I was dealing with morning sickness, but he didn't seem to care. "Housework? Sorry, I'm going hiking with my buddies." "Wait, you didn't mention that." "Did I forget? Ugh. But I can't even get out of bed. I'm not well." "No choice. I already made plans. What, you want me to cancel?" "I'm pregnant, you know. What if something happens?" "Chill. Nothing's gonna happen. It's too early for anything. You're being dramatic." He had the nerve to say this while barely glancing at me, struggling to get out of bed. Days went by, each harder than the last because of his carelessness. Then one day I got a call from a friend. "It's been a while. What's up?" Ignoring my greeting, my friend lowered her voice. "Is your husband doing okay?" "Yeah, same old outdoor obsession. Why?" "Turns out he seems to be cheating." "What? Cheating?" Caught off guard, I raised my voice. "The other woman is from his hiking group. I happened to see them." "Can't believe it's him. Unbelievable." Muttering to myself, my friend asks, "Are you okay?" "I'll send the evidence photos for now. I thought this was bad, so I happened to capture it." "Thank you." I hung up and felt like everything went dark. He was cheating while I was pregnant? The friend he'd been going out with was actually his mistress? Divorce crossed my mind, but I had to think of the baby. For the baby's sake, I needed to hold my temper. Days later, when I confronted him with the truth, he came clean easily. "Tell me the truth. Why did you cheat?" In a soft voice, he finally admitted, "I felt lonely, and, well..." "So that gives you the right to do whatever you want?" "No, that's not what I mean. You have a family. Show some responsibility." "I'm really sorry. I won't do it again. Please forgive me." We decided to continue our marriage, based on his promise that he wouldn't do it again. I even had him sign a pledge stating he would owe me $50,000 in damages if he cheated again. Time passed and I safely gave birth to our daughter. He was genuinely happy for her birth, crying tears of joy, but trust was not restored for me. I didn't divorce him because he was, and still is, a good dad to our daughter. In fact, after our daughter was born, he truly became a great dad. His frequent outdoor activities dwindled, and he started taking good care of her. Instead, he began to spend the money he'd used for outdoor activities on toys and clothes for our daughter. While it would be okay if it were for necessities, most of the things he bought were on a whim. Buying unnecessarily expensive items or things in the wrong size. Eugene, you know Charlotte can't wear the dress you bought today, right? I told you her size. No matter how much I pointed it out, he never took it to heart. On the contrary, he would get angry at my criticism. That was the only size they had in that design. But what's the point if she can't wear it? Stop nagging! It's a bit small, but she can still wear it. I bought it for her, so quit complaining. For whom did he buy it? Who does he think he is? How many unwearable dresses has he bought just this month? By now, the anxiety I felt towards him, including the affairs, had already piled up and would continue as our daughter grew older. Of course, I never told our daughter about his affairs. He might have sensed my coldness because he started staying out late for overtime, coming home past midnight. Although our relationship had cooled for many years, we had just about managed to keep our marriage intact. All for our only daughter, Charlotte. But in the last few months, Charlotte's behavior has changed dramatically. She doesn't even offer basic courtesies anymore, yet she acts normally around him, ignoring me to speak to him. Why on earth? In stark contrast to my cheating husband, I have been a dedicated mom. Eugene comes home late and is often absent on weekends. I'm the one who has consistently connected with her as a parent. As we near the end of our divorce talks, I find myself panicking. I intended to have sole custody of our daughter, but what if she chooses him? The thought is unbearable. Frustrated by my daughter Charlotte's behavior, I decided it was time for a serious talk. Hey Charlotte, have I done something to upset you? What? Why the sudden question? I think you know what I'm talking about. Your attitude towards me has been pretty icy, hasn't it? So what if it is? It's my life. I can do what I want. I want to understand why you're acting this way. If I've done something wrong, I want to make it right. Charlotte just sighed, not changing her expression. Talking like this was getting us nowhere. Feeling cornered, I decided to let her in on the fact that her dad and I were getting divorced. Charlotte, your dad and I are going to divorce soon. So what? I didn't want to spring this on you, but I'd like us to live together after the split. Why? I'm going to live with Dad. What? Are you surprised? Did you think I'd choose you? Charlotte? My daughter fired off cruel words with a contemptuous look on her face. I had never seen the side of her, and I was at a loss for words. Seeing my stunned reaction, she continued. I'm going with Dad, no matter what you say. I can't stand living with someone as terrible as you. Terrible? Wait, what do you mean? Playing dumb? You think I don't know? I've known about the divorce for a while. How? Who else? Dad told me. He also told me what a terrible person you are. What do you mean? Charlotte continued to take my husband's side, glaring at me. Something was definitely wrong here, so I tried my best to convince her. Charlotte, you'll be going to high school and college soon. You can't be with your dad. He's too financially unstable. I want sole custody for your sake. I went on to tell her how unstable my husband's life was and why it worried me. My heartfelt plea was, I'd really like you to stay with me. So Charlotte, I want you to come with me. I promise to work harder than ever. But what came out of her mouth was unbelievable. Don't be ridiculous! You're the one having an affair! Blaming Dad and trying to deceive me? That's awful! What? An affair? It's Dad's fault that we're tight on money? You're giving our money to your lover, aren't you? And yet you blame it all on Dad? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Don't play innocent. Dad told me everything. I don't need a lying, cheating mom. You disgust me. I felt a surge of anger throughout my body. He fed her such lies? He's the one who cheated, yet he's making me out to be the villain, trying to rob our daughter of her future. Absolutely unforgivable. First things first, I have to clear up my daughter's misunderstanding. So I decided to disclose a long hidden truth to her. Charlotte, listen to me. I never cheated. What? You expect me to believe that now? It's not a lie. I firmly grasped Charlotte's shoulders. I would never cheat, especially with you, my dear Charlotte, in the picture. In fact, it was Dad who cheated. What? Dad did? When I told my daughter about the past affair, Charlotte looked down, her face turning pale. In the awkward silence, I spoke gently. I'm sorry this is happening so suddenly, Charlotte, but you needed to know the truth. Then Charlotte looked sternly at me. You still have those photos of Dad's affair that my friend took, right? Yes, I do have them. Show me. But just do it. I want to believe you, Mom. Charlotte. Faced with my daughter's earnest gaze, I felt compelled to respond. I took out the photos from the back of a drawer and handed them to her. After taking a deep breath, Charlotte apologized. I'm sorry, Mom. I shouldn't have assumed things without hearing your side. It's okay. No need to apologize. I said awful things because Dad seemed so sincere. I thought he was the one telling the truth. Charlotte, I'm sticking with you, Mom. I don't trust Dad anymore. Tears welled up in her eyes as she clearly stated her choice. And so the misunderstanding was resolved, and my daughter chose to stand by me. A few days later, Charlotte told me, Dad's still cheating. When I asked her to explain, she told me that she found numerous pictures of Dad's affair on his cell phone. Since she didn't have her own phone yet, she would borrow his from time to time. Knowing about the past affair, she thoroughly searched his phone for my sake. She found the evidence and transferred the photos to my phone without Dad finding out. Now that I had irrefutable proof, I decided it was time to talk to my husband about divorce. Eugene, it's time for us to divorce, don't you think? Continuing from the previous scenario, the husband was visibly shaken by my words. Hey, stop it! Not in front of Charlotte. Why? This involves Charlotte too, doesn't it? Maybe, but fine. As we agreed before, no alimony. I'll take Charlotte with me. We're good? He said it so casually as if it was a given that our daughter would go with him. Judging by Charlotte's cold behavior toward me, he seemed overly confident. Then our daughter looked at me and smiled. Mom, I want to go with you. What? Charlotte? Didn't I explain everything to you? You did. You said Mom is cheating, that she's giving money to her lover. See? That's why you should go with me, your dad. You're lying about Mom's affair, aren't you? What? I know everything, Dad, about your spending habits and your past affairs. How did you... It's disgusting that you lie to me to get on your side. At this, the color drained from my husband's face, replaced by a look of utter despair. Charlotte continued. You're still cheating, aren't you, Dad? What? What are you talking about? Your phone is full of pictures of your affair. Big mistake lending it to me, thinking I was on your side. You went through my phone? Charlotte's gaze hardened and she yelled. You're cheating! Yet you blame Mom and even lie to me? You're not just a terrible dad, you're a terrible human being. Charlotte, wait! I don't want to hear any excuses from a man who cheats. You've hurt Mom too. I don't trust you anymore and you're no longer family to me. Only Mom is my real family. I will never forgive you. Apparently, these words from his beloved daughter were too much. My husband sat down, tears forming in his eyes. He just looked down, as if searching for words he couldn't find. Later, we successfully got divorced. Thanks to having made a prenuptial agreement, I managed to receive a clean $50,000 in alimony from my husband. He's left with nothing but debt, and seems to be hounded daily by debt collectors. Unable to manage even basic household chores, he lives amidst heaps of trash. As for me, I live happily with Charlotte. Now that she knows the whole story, she's back to her kind self. Mom, there's a new dessert shop in the next town. Really? Wanna go? Yes, take me, Mom! Alright, we'll go on my next day off. Really? Yay! I may feel bad about taking her away from her father, but I have no regrets. Seeing the look on my daughter's face, I know I made the right choice. I'll continue to shower her with love, and we'll live happily ever after. I'm committed to loving this child, who believes in me, for the rest of my life.